Hello, I am Lost Generation. This is MediEvil. Let's play. I said some time ago now that I was going to do Scarecrow Fields next, and there was nothing to do in Enchanted Earth yet. Trouble is, during the time I wasn't playing, I wasn't recording, I did a practice run, and realised that wasn't quite right. There is something to do in Enchanted Earth, and while I thought I was going to do them both at the same time, it turns out you can't, so I might as well do it now. Right, I'm not going to say anything about Enchanted Earth just yet, because this isn't really the level I'm showing. I'm just going through it to get to something else. All you need to know is that those things are annoying, they will continue to be annoying. Also, since I hadn't played for a bit, I will be making a few mistakes here. I've had a few people saying they were looking forward to me using the Witch Talisman, and, well, I changed my mind and I am using it now. I'm really going to need what I get at the end of this.
Who has summoned the Witch of the Forest? Oh, it is you, Sir Fortescue. Forgive me, my lord. I have never met a real hero. Forgive me, just an old lady's little joke. In truth, I am glad to see you, Sir Fortescue. I need 7 pieces of amber that are hidden in the ant's nest. Bring them to me, and I can grant you a special reward. I will only offer you this quest this once. Are you willing to give it a try?
It isn't this once, you can do it as many times as you want.
Sorry, didn't I mention I'd have to shrink you to the size of an insect? Now hurry back.
I've never understood why smaller characters always have a higher pitch. Maybe someone could explain that to me. I don't know how that started. Right, this is the Ant Caves. This is a bonus level, you never have to do it, and as such, it is kind of different from any other level.
Run, little man! If the master found it now, he would crush it like a bag. Hark! We can hear the soldier ants approaching. Onward, and meet your tiny nemesis.
So, yeah, the Ant Caves. There's no chalice. You have to collect these pieces of amber, as the witch said. And right away there's that. The reason for this is so that you can't... Oh, there's a club, but I don't need that. I'm not even going to bother picking it up. The reason for the portal is just to make sure you find out the gimmick to this level. Breakable walls, and these guys.
Thank you for releasing me, sir. My people wish only to live our lives in blissful harmony with nature. But alas, the wicked Ant Queen has many of us imprisoned. Rescue my people, Mr. Fortescue, and you will be richly rewarded.
Now, some people have said that this game doesn't really seem like a kid's game at all, and I can only guess they never found this level.
Here we are. I shall open the entrance for you. These fireflies are my friends. They will light your way through the darkness below.
The fireflies, I'm not sure the point of. I can usually see okay without them, but they're there. Now, the ants, they're the only enemy. They respawn infinitely. You don't get anything for killing them. The fairies, there are 6 fairies to find in addition to the 7 ambers. You break them free, sometimes there's an ambush as a result. As I said, since the ants respawn infinitely, just run away, there's no point. Again, you need 7 pieces of amber. There are 6 lying loose, and you can get more by squashing those grubs I was squashing earlier. there are more than 7 pieces. You don't have to go through the entire level, which is good because it's a maze. I did a practice run beforehand, and after 20 minutes without finding everything, I decided to just stop and look up a map. In the end, I looked up game facts, of all places, and I have to say thank you to Starfighter76, because without his map, this would probably be about 3 times as long. As it turns out, this is a kind of maze where you can just hug the right wall and you'll get to the end, but you won't find all the fairies, unfortunately. I may post the map, because I'm not sure how to explain it in words. Now, unfortunately, it's not quite as bad as the graveyard. This is a very short level, but there's only one enemy type that respawns infinitely. There isn't as much to say about it, but this time I am prepared. Now, see, I had a joke list somewhere. Cake, unarmed, hammer time, something, airplane, food, what else? Oh, I know. Oh, like you can do any better, Dan. Dan, you know there could be children watching, right? Alright, I'm cutting you off. Having a co-host is not what it's cracked up to be. Well, ignoring that debacle, things continue as normal in the Ant Caves. I'm not sure why it's called caves and not the nest. I don't know why there's amber. I know nothing about ants, so I'm not sure why I'm the person commenting on this. I suppose one reason I'm doing this, there are 2 rewards for doing this level. There's one specific to this level, and I'm not going to spoil that, but also, if you collect all the fairies, they act as the chalice for this level. You go to the Hall of Heroes afterwards, and this also means that you could, since you can choose when you do this level, if you were struggling with the ants for some reason, you could try and come back later with a better weapon. As it is, the reason I decided to do this first is because I was struggling with Scarecrow Fields. Since you're only seeing the videos I want you to see, you won't know it, but I kind of died there. The hammer, it's great, but like all the weapons in this game, it's not great forever. At some point soon I'm going to realize that I've missed a fairy. As I said, even with the map, I had attempted to go with the right-hand rule, and I got to the end. This is the end, that's the boss door. But I've missed a few fairies, so I'm going to have to double back. It won't take too long, so I'm not going to speed it up this time. Also, if you're wondering, when you free the fairies, they say sweet. In a... well, I know it's a British accent, because the game was made in England, but I can't figure out who that's supposed to be making fun of. It's exaggerated, maybe Cockney or Liverpool, I'm not sure. Supplies? I'm not doing the boss fight yet, but when you do, buy as many crossbow bolts as you can. That's the other advantage. The regular ants aren't the problem here. If you were struggling with this level, it would be because of the boss fight. If you wanted to come back with a better ranged weapon, I wouldn't blame you. And... well... I don't want to go back to the joke list, considering what happened last time. More amber. There's no reward for getting more than 7. Something does happen if you finish the level without 7, and I'm going to show what that is. Until then, just squashing grubs. Which, probably worth pointing out, there are only 6 pieces of amber lying loose, so you do have to kill at least 1 grub to finish this level. There's no pacifist ones. And there's the fairy I missed. They're all rescued, and I will never have to redo this level. Like I said, not as bad as the graveyard, but almost nothing is happening. Actually, no, let's be fair, it probably is worse than the graveyard. The only reason I'm doing this level is because I know what I'm going to get at the end of it. If you're on your first time playthrough, then this isn't a very good bonus. As it turns out, the reward for beating it is really good, but you don't know that the first time. Yeah, actually, I will say, this is worse than the graveyard. Everything looks the same, there's only one enemy. The boss fight is better, actually. I'm about to show that, but all in all, I've gathered that this was taken out of the remake, and to be honest, I don't blame them. I don't know if they also removed the reward for it, I hope not, but... Oh, yeah, that's the Ant Queen. It does that. It spits things at you, and it spawns 2 enemy ants. I didn't realize it during this recording, and I really should have done, but like a lot of games like this, or any boss that spawns minions, if you only kill one of the ants and just run away from the other, she doesn't spawn more until you've killed them both. So, you can actually, it's better to not kill both of them. Oh, she also makes rocks fall. She's vulnerable to being attacked while she's doing that, but I missed it that time. In theory, you can hit her with melee weapons, but it's almost... I've never managed to do it without taking damage in the process, because if you touch her, you take damage. So, if you run out of ranged ammo, I don't see how you could win this. Similar to the hammer, the crossbow is starting to lose its effectiveness. We're past the times when you could one-shot a boss with that. Well, okay, it would be 2 or 3 turns, but it did a lot more damage than that. And that, the Ant Queen isn't particularly difficult. She has more than one attack, so she's better than the graveyard boss. I was holding the strafe button then, so I'm not sure why he suddenly changed his direction. As I've said, it's not perfect, it just sometimes arbitrarily stops strafing. I misremembered being able to get, like, health files and things by squashing those grubs to the side, but when I went back and tried it, that doesn't work. Nothing happens. Don't waste your time on them. I got a bit impatient here. If you have all the life balls so far, you can do that. If you're a bit more cautious, you may want to just kill those ants and wait for your next opportunity to hit the queen. Also, worth pointing out, I came into this with 194 crossbow bolts. I'm already down to 60. Wait until you see how many I finish with. Other than that, there isn't much to say about this boss fight for now. I may let the boss music play for a bit. If this sound seems really annoying, I've already turned it down in the audio. I've listened to it at full volume. One crossbow bolt. I also had throwing knives, but I went in with 194 crossbow bolts. So that's pretty bad.
Bless me, if it isn't Daniel, Lord of the Ants. Hold still, and I'll remove the shrink spell. Oh, lovely, lovely Amber. Here you are, Sir Knight. A wart-covered and cabbage-smelling old crone I may be, but I always keep my promises. I grant you my reward.
You have helped to free all the fairy people from the clutches of the filthy and scum. As a reward, I can grant you passage to the Hall of Heroes. I've never been there myself, but I've heard they got a free bar.
Before we can do that, weird fairy guy, I have to show what happens if you beat the boss without getting all 7 pieces of amber.
What's this? I said 7 pieces of amber. No reward for you, you useless squirt.
Yeah. Which is why it's a good thing that she was lying when she said you can only do her mission once. You can redo it as many times as you want by just reselecting Enchanted Earth and getting out the talisman again. It's exactly the same conversation. She acts like she's never seen you before. I'm fairly sure it refills your chicken drumsticks. They're a projectile. They have limited ammo, but I'm not saying any more about them until the next video because they're too good to shoehorn into this one. And now it really is onto the Hall of Heroes. The gargoyle has nothing new to say, but there is a new statue, so let's talk to him.
Fortescue, you jawless arrow magnet, what are you doing back here? What? Call me Mr. Woden the Mighty. How I pity the people of Gallowmere, that their fate should once again be in the hands of a chump like you. Still, I suppose it's not fair to take it out on them. Take my sword, and do try not to stab yourself in the foot. You know, I've always had my doubts about you, Fortescue. You're just not carved from hero material.
And as his reward for swallowing his pride, Dan now has the broadsword. It works the same way as the small sword, where X is a wide swing, you can hold down square to spin it up, or tap square to spin, hold it down for a charge, more damaging attack. It's bigger, so it has a wider swing. It does the same or slightly less damage than the hammer, but what's really good about it is that you can enchant it at the merchant gargoyles. The enchantment will wear down constantly as long as the sword is equipped, but while it is enchanted, it does a huge amount of damage. I think it's the same damage as the best melee weapon in the game, which is why I really need it for the next level. You'll see more then, when I really do play Scarecrow Fields this time. For now, this is MediEvil, I am Lost Generation, and thank you for watching.